Welcome. In the last video, I showed you how to create an outline for your book in LibreTexts. This video is going to go over how to edit and add content to that book. On my screen, I am again on the LibreCommons homepage. I'm going to click Conductor in the top right corner to get to my Conductor dashboard. Once here, I'm going to open up the Libraries dropdown and select the appropriate library to get into the LibreTexts Libraries dashboard. I'm going to click on Tools in the blue bar on the side of the page and open the OER remixer. Now this page defaults to creating a new remix, so creating like a new outline for a new book. But if you want to look at books that you have already created an outline for and edit them, you'll want to transfer this over to Edit Remix mode. It's going to ask you if you want to swap the modes and click Swap. Once you do, you'll see a new library panel. And you're going to be able to find the books that you've created an outline for in the sandboxes dropdown. If you're not familiar with that term, when it comes to tech things, the sandbox is a non-public, private to you area that you can sort of work and play around in without making any live changes to things that are viewable by the general public. So when you open up the sandbox, you can see your email address or account information. You'll want to open that up and it'll show you the books that you've created outlines for. So in the remixer, once I find the book that I want to edit, I can double click on it and it will bring me out to the full book. Here we can see the different chapters. And if I click into the chapters, I can see the pages within the chapters. That is a long path to get to where you want to be. At the end of the last video, I talked about a link that you can copy and save from the remixer. If you just click on that link or use that link, it will bring you right to this page. And you don't have to click through all of those things to find your book. Once you are in your book, there is going to be this light blue bar at the top that you can use to navigate back. I am right now in chapter 2, but I can click back onto the title of the book to get back to all of its contents. And each of these chapters I can go into and edit. So Welcome to LAB 101 was a chapter that I named, but I did not add any content to. Once I click into it, I can see that it's empty. I can click Edit, and I will see a empty box that I can either copy and paste content into or type directly into. I do recommend that if you are creating new content that you have it created in a Word or Google document, just so that that is located in one place. And adding it to a site like LibreTexts will sort of be the last step. Once I do have that content that I'm ready to copy over, I can put it directly into this text box here. So let's say I have a reading prepared. I can come over, copy that information, click into the text box and paste it. And I have all of my content added in here. I might want to come in and adjust the formatting a little bit. So I can highlight this and make sure that it is the right heading type that I would like. Same with this piece. I can click into a bullet point list and increase the indent. or change the type of bullet points. I'll want to make sure that images have alt text. If you're copying from a place where you've already created the alt text, it will populate here. If you have not created the alt text yet, you'll want to just type a description of the photo and then click Save. Double clicking on an image brings that box up. You can also use this to align the images to a different part of the page. There are plenty of options in the LibreText when you are editing your content in this box. The best practice really is clicking around to see what is available to you. The top right corner here, there is an HTML option. If you speak HTML or have anything to embed, you can do that here. If you click on visual, it brings you back to the text box as is. One option that I really like in LibreTexts is the boxes. So say that this section of this page were to be starting out with the definition of a term. I could click into boxes and click definition, and it will generate a box for me where I can type a term and its definition. I can also create a box for an example, a box for emphasis, and you can layer boxes within each other. This can all be deleted like anything else can be. Once you are done playing around with the formatting, you can click Save to save your work, and the page will reload and show you a preview of the page that you've created. I can work through the book one by one with these blue arrows. So my next page would be how to be an online student. Or I can use the light blue bar at the top to click back to review my content. We can see that the content that I've copied over has images for the chapters. We can create those images by clicking into the chapter and expanding the page settings at the top. The thumbnail, we can mouse over and click Edit and choose a photo. Make sure that when you are using photos in your OER that you are using openly licensed images. You can find those through Google or Wikimedia Commons, Creative Commons. There are a lot of places that you can find either public domain or Creative Commons photos. You can also, in the page settings, add a page summary. And this is also where you will select the license and other information. The one it gets a little bit weird. With the content that I copied over from other OER, if I just want to reuse that content as is, I don't need to do anything. But say that on this chapter, on the narrowing a topic page, I wanted to edit some of the content here. If I just click edit at the top of the page, we'll see that all I have is a link out to where that content is hosted, saying that I am reusing the content. In order to be able to edit this, I need to do something that LibreTexts calls forking, which means that I am creating sort of a fork or an offshoot of this content and creating a copy that I can edit in my own text. I can do so by scrolling up to the top of the page, clicking on options, and then clicking forker. It'll ask me if I want to fork this page, and I will say okay. Now it will say that it successfully did that for me. And I can see that the difference now when I get into edit is that I have all of this content here, and I can make edits to it by just typing or editing in this text box. When I am done making edits, I'll just click save, and they'll appear here. I can see that the original author is credited at the top of the page, and any of my edits will show up here. I'll need to make sure that I use the forking option for any of the copied over content that I want to edit. There are a lot of features and a lot of options within editing your book in LibreTexts. I highly recommend that you take a look at the LibreText construction guide that is also linked in this using LibreTexts document for more information on the nitty-gritty details of this editing option. You can also email me or set up an appointment to consult with me on using LibreTexts if you have any questions.